Hey guys, today I'm filming the second update for my year-long project pan, and this is a group of products that I put together at the beginning of the year with hopes of finishing by the end of the year. These are full-size products, things that are essentially brand new, and these are longer term goals. Things are going to be more challenging to use. I have been incorporating a lot of these into a different seasonal projects just to make myself focus on them a little bit more, but there are some things that I have just kept to this project. I was able to finish up 11 products since my last update, which is super exciting. A lot of these were in my spring project pan, but first I have some primers. The Dr. Brandt Pore Refiner Primer, I showed you guys last time that I barely had anything left, and I think I had less than a week's worth of product, which is amazing. This is something that I started on last year, and it feels great to have finished this up. So at my intro, this weighed 1.108 ounces. Then last update, it was 0.803, all used up 0.769. This has been my favorite pore filling primer for years. I will say though, it doesn't mesh perfectly with all other primers, but it does work with most. And this is something that I have decided I don't actually need in my collection anymore. I think that my skin and my pore size is totally fine just using like an all over smoothing primer, that I don't need something specifically pore filling. So not something I would repurchase right now, but if you are looking for a product like this, I highly recommend. And this does go on sale half off for also 21 Days of Beauty often, and I would say definitely wait for that because it's a really expensive product. I finished my second tube of the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. This is an amazing glowy primer. This was half a fluid ounce. I love that this had a gorgeous champagne glow, and the consistency of this was so nice and creamy. It looked glowy on my skin but never felt greasy. This is the best glowy primer I've ever been able to use for my oily skin, but unfortunately Becca is no longer in business and Smashbox did not pick up this product. So my second favorite is the VDL Lumalayer Primer. I have a full size of that. I'm excited to get into it and try it out again, but that one has more of a pearlescent glow, which is very pretty, but I'm so sad this is not available anymore because this really is a standout for me. So at my intro, this weighed 0.854 ounces. Last update, 0.419. Now all used up, 0.192. Next is very scary looking. This is my Glow Recipe Pore Smooth Blur Drops. I don't know the full name. Strawberry BHA, because in those last couple uses, the sticker was literally like peeling off on my finger when I was trying to squeeze the packaging. It was the most bizarre thing ever. I haven't really seen that happen to other people. I didn't have anything on my hands except maybe like some skincare product that was left over, but I don't know, that was very odd. But the weight on this one went from 1.118 at the intro, last update 1.112, all used up 0.758. I didn't really love this at first, but as I continued using this, it is a really nice, like slightly smoothing primer, a little bit more mattifying without being too matte. I think I was disappointed at first because I thought this was going to be like super pore filling, and it's not, but it definitely gives a blurring effect. It is something I would consider repurchasing. I felt like I went through it a little bit quickly though, but it feels great to have it done because this has a 6-month shelf life, which is crazy. Next, I finished my Fenty Eavesdrop Skin Tint in the shade number 3. I got out everything I could. I'm not going to be cutting this, and the weights went from 1.238 ounces at the intro, 0.857 last update, and today all used up 0.679. It's something that I would consider purchasing in the future. I do feel like it gives medium coverage and it has a soft matte finish. It's decently long wearing, but I don't get why it's a skin tint. It just feels like this is a medium coverage foundation, because I feel like with most skin tints I mentally think of them as more of like a glowy, lightweight type of product. But I do think this was good, something I would consider repurchasing in the future. But I really am in the zone where I want to work on the foundations that I have and probably try new things before I would repurchase something, but this would be on the list to be considered. Something that I will repurchase until the end of time would be my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in 12N Fair Neutral. I believe I popped the stopper at my last update, and luckily that was not too challenging to get out. If you guys remember last year, I used up Ultra Creamy and I just could not get it out for the life of me, and I was jacking up my hands. This was not as tough of a process, luckily. So at the intro, this weighed 0.960 ounces. Last update, 0.741. All used up, 0.647. Definitely my favorite under eye concealer of all time. I love the coverage. I love how smooth it looks. I love the wear. It never looks too drying or matte for me, but I do have oily skin and I have oily under eyes, so this is just my holy grail under eye concealer. I love trying new things, but this is something I always want to have around, and I already have a backup. Next, I finished my Rare Beauty Liquid Luminizer in Transcend. This, I already put the stopper back in. This is a really beautiful rose gold color. I really like the formula of this. I found it pretty easy to blend into the skin. Last year I panned a Flower Beauty liquid highlight wand and it did not blend as nice. Part of the blendability could be because it was a little bit dark for me, so maybe it wasn't as noticeable as if it was a lighter shade, but I do think this is just really beautiful. So I'm going to double check the weights and put it on the screen because I was sure that I had some weight on this. Like, I should have 3 numbers, but I just have 2, so I'll double check. But right now what I'm seeing is that it went from 0.509 ounces to 0.402. This is something that I would repurchase in a different shade now that they make minis. There are some shades that look just so beautiful, so it's something I would certainly think about getting in a Sephora sale in the future. Then I finally finished my Benefit Professional Super Setter. I had put this into Urban Decay packaging because I don't like the mister on this, so I use this as my primer spray in winter and then primer and setting spray in spring, which is why I went through it a little bit faster. So this went from 3.821 ounces to 0.850, if I'm getting all these numbers correctly. Next, I finished both of the pencil liners that I had in this project. First was the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in Rosette. This, you're not gonna be able to see anything. This is the most gorgeous copper rose gold mix. This was a limited edition shade. I'm so sad. If they ever brought this back, I would buy 2 or 3 of these because it is just so perfect for every day. I'm so sad this is gone. And then I moved on to the Dose of Colors eyeliner in Teddy, which I had just rolled in last update. And this is a beautiful rosy brown shade, but it's like a tan brown. It's not super dark. This is so beautiful. I got 11 uses out of this since I rolled it in, and I had been working on it earlier in the year. It just wasn't in my project yet, and I feel so good about this. And I was so surprised that this color was very complementary with some of my more peachy eyeshadows. I did do several makeup of the days with this, and I will have those linked down below so you can see how it looked, how it complemented those peach eyeshadows. But unfortunately, this is another product that is not available any longer. This formula was not the best. I like a dry eyeliner like the ColourPop, but this was just a little bit more dry. I had a little bit more issue applying it, but this also was old in my collection, so it's possible that the formula just has dried out a bit more over the years. So really sad this is gone, but it feels great to have used up 2 pencil liners. That's amazing. And lastly, I have 2 lip products from Tower 28. This is the limited edition lip jelly in Dream. This was just a light champagne shade. Gave a little bit of shimmer to the lips, but it was essentially clear. And this went from 1.149 ounces to 1.034. And I did weigh this with the stopper. And I also finished on my Tower 28 Milky Lip Jelly in Pistachio. This went from 1.143 ounces to last update 1.098, and all used up 1.030. And you can see there's a little bit of product on the sides, but I wasn't really able to scrape anything out. And I love this gloss formula. It's one of my favorites because it is so nice and smooth. It has a very glossy finish, and this is going to wear away quickly. I don't mind. I would choose to reapply for the comfortability. And I would not repurchase Dream just because I don't really go for lightly shimmery or clear glosses, but I definitely would repurchase Pistachio. I actually already have a backup of this that I was sent to NPR, which is super exciting. This is a great everyday shade for me and one that I feel like I always want to have in my collection. So happy to get through these before they expired because I know that has happened to people, and this is a clean brand. Those are all of my empties, but now I have 3 items I want to remove from this project. This first one I'm actually just gonna be throwing in the trash, which I almost never do, but this product is not expired. It is just so terrible that I don't want anybody else to have to use it. This was brand new at the beginning of the year. It's the Kopari Tripeptide Lip Cloud, and I have somewhere between like 1/3 and a half of this left, and I just couldn't do it. This was drying my lips out terribly, making them like super rough and chapped and looked awful. I was thinking it might have been some other things, and I know that I did use a couple months ago like an expired EOS lip balm, and that jacked my lips up, but this just made it worse, made it continue, and it was just so gross. This is going in the trash. You can feel like grittiness, and it's not old, so that is just so disappointing. And I'm really glad that I had gotten this half off. I used a gift card on it, but it was half off and I've used over half of it. So what, did I waste $5 worth of product? I would rather throw $5 in the trash than have my lips suffer for a few more months. So this started out at 0.906 ounces, last update 0.833, today 0.821, and now I'm done with that thing. And in my intro for this project, I mentioned a handful of things that I said if I have extra time, I would love to get to these. I actually don't think I'm going to get to any of them because I brought in so many things in this project, but this is a combo I thought would work nicely. I tried it out. I don't like it. And that would be the Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Cover Foundation in 1-in-1 Ivory Nude and the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter in number 1. These just don't mesh together as well as I like. First up, this is thicker than this. This is very pigmented, but it is a pretty thin consistency. And I was hoping that this would help with the color because this is a smidge light, and I was hoping it would thin out the coverage a little bit, but it's not going to because this is not a thinner consistency, like duh. But I tried it out. I don't love them together, but I'm gonna put these back in my collection, and I would like to pan these individually next year, so we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I'm probably not gonna get to any of those products, but I did want to let you know I'm officially taking this out and even being up in the running. But with that being said, I do actually have extra things that I'm bringing in today that I'm really excited about. So I will show you those new products just as we go along. So I want to start with my perfumes, and this is like half an empty. So I have been working on the Givenchy Irresistible Perfume. This has a rollerball, which is not my preference. So I did pop the rollerball out. I have an Instagram reel on that. I'll have it down below. And I poured it what all could fit into this little scent bird size, and I had it down to here at my last update, but I just finished this a few days ago because I'm into my spring perfume. So this is something that I am going to be setting aside until fall, but I did use up another scent bird last year. I'm gonna put the product in there because this one, the mister is messed up and it was squirting like a really thick squirt, and it just ended up smelling way too intense. And I'm bummed that I don't love this perfume as much as I thought, but I'm so glad I just got this size, and it's something I would definitely be able to work through. But you should not see more progress on this for several more months, but I feel so good that I finished this a little bit by this update. Then the spring perfume that I've been working on was the Clean Reserve Aqua Neroli. It was brand new last time. Now we are down here, so this should be finished by next update, which is exciting. And I feel like I always want to mention this because it's just so fun. This reminds me so much of when Mary-Kay and Ashley had their Coast to Coast NYC and LA perfume. I don't know which one it was, but this smells like a more grown-up version of one of those, and oh, that makes me just so happy every time I use it. So that, as I said, should be finished by next update. Now moving on to my complexion products. You guys know that is where I have the majority of my items. First, it's something that I am going to be rolling in. This is the Item Beauty One Hit Prime Set and Refresh Dewy Finish Face Mist. I'm going to be using this as a primer spray. That's a step that I just really enjoy doing. This is something I got in a giveaway, and I figure why not? I've already used it in that way for the past couple of days, and I think it works nicely. Doesn't make me feel oily or greasy. And I'm weighing this without the cap, and it is starting out at 3.801 ounces. This does come with 3.2 fluid ounces of product, so should take me a little while, but I'm totally fine with that. Now I have got over 6 months to work on some more primers, which is exciting. So for this month, I am working on a deluxe size, and then once that is done, I have another foil size. So I think I won't start working on another actual primer until June. So what I'm thinking and hoping is that I will be able to get through this Too Faced Primed in Peachy Cooling Matte Skin Perfecting Primer in about 4 months. I haven't used this tube at all. This does come with 1.35 fluid ounces, so it's more than your standard size, which makes me a little bit nervous, but I am rolling in a lot of things here because I'm being very hopeful. I love doing that with this project in particular. So let's see if I can get through this in 4 months. And then if possible, if according to plan, afterwards I would like to move on to the Fenty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. This is their matte primer. This is a 1/2 ounce size, and it would be great to be able to knock out both of these by the end of the year. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but again, I'm putting it out there. I'm manifesting it that I can get through the both of these. Next, we've got foundation, and this is my current combo. So we have the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in 1W 1 Bone. It was brand new. Now I'm down here. I'm hoping that this will be finished in another 3.5 months or so. And this was previously too heavy, but now it is weighing at 3.825 ounces. And because this is a little dark, I've been mixing it with my Lawless Conceal the Deal Foundation in Pearl. This has been my mixer all year. Made some great progress on this so far. So it went from 2.136 at my intro, 1.764 at last update, and 1.567 today. So again, I think this should be here for a little while longer, but I'm totally fine with that. It would be great if these two could end up used up at the same time. So with that kind of thinking, I might have 3.5, 4 more months to work on another foundation. And these are two foundations that I had in mind to pan next year, but I wanted to get your thoughts on what you think I should do. So we've got the Pure 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie Foundation in LN2 and the Too Faced Peach Perfect Matte Foundation in Swan. This has your standard ounce. This has 1.6 ounces. So do you think that I should potentially try to finish this year, or I should make good progress on the Too Faced this year? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and who knows, when I finish the Estee Lauder foundation, if it's not as early as I'm thinking, then I might not even stand a chance of finishing this. But again, I'm just like excited. I was already thinking about it, so I wanted to share it with you. So if things go according to plan and I've got 3 more months to work on a foundation, which one should I aim to get some progress on or use up? Moving on to correctors and concealers, I am currently using this combination. I started out the year just using the Tower 28, but last update I added in the Huda Beauty color corrector, and this is in the shade Peach. This is a shade too dark for me. Pink Palmetto would be a better fit, which is why I'm mixing it with the Tower 28 Swipe Up Serum Concealer and CC, which is a little dark and more of a peachy undertone. So this is such a lovely combo. And I was previously blending it out with the BK Beauty and Angie Hot and Flashy concealer brush, but I have moved back into using this Anissa angled concealer brush, and I love it. It blends it out so effortlessly. So with the Huda corrector, unfortunately, I did not weigh it brand new, and I started working on it right away. But since my last update, this went from 1.258 ounces to 1.226, and I use this every single day. But first off, it is incredibly messy. I try to leave it right side up, but I literally scrape the product off, and then I leave just a small amount and do 1 dot on the inner corner of my eyes. So this is going very slowly, even though I'm using it every day. So this is going to be here till the end of the year. This might be done a little bit sooner. I'm not in a rush though, because again, I love that combo. So this started out at 1.450 ounces. Last update, 1.395. Today, 1.351. So pretty steady progress. And for my actual concealer, I'm currently using the KVD Good Apple Serum Concealer in Light 105. Because of the packaging, I'm really not sure where I am. When I'm trying to go around the sides, it appears that I'm down to the bottom of the black, which would be great. And this had started out at 0.873 ounces, now 0.761. And I believe a lot of that is packaging. I really do. I love this concealer. It's been on sale a lot recently, so I'm not quite sure what that means. But I do have like a dollop of product on the very tip of the applicator, but the whole thing isn't completely coated. So I feel like it should have just a little bit left at next update, which would be exciting, but I do just love this product. And then after that, I'm gonna move on to the Kulfi Main Match Concealer in Fudge Nosh. I never know how to say that. And I have not used this at all since my intro. And I thought about bringing in another concealer today, but I was like, no, Heather, wait until you finish the KVD, see how much time there is left, and then you can be excited enough to bring in another concealer. But I already know what it is. But I said, no, Heather, that's too much. I'm already going overboard with these other categories, but that would just be too much even for me. Now we have my powders. So first being the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in Airy. I've not hit pan on this yet. I've been using it all year long, and that has been a little bit annoying for me as a panner, but it would be good as just like a regular makeup consumer because the product lasts a while. But that is because I set my skin with a loose powder first and then go on top with this. You can see it's a little bit too light for me to be able to use on its own. And also it's not matte enough for me to want to use on its own. So at the intro this weighed 2.787 ounces. Last update, 2.665. Today, 2.579. I'm going to use it for the rest of this month, and then I'm probably going to put it to the side for summer and bring it back out in fall. I'm not totally sure what I want to do here. I was hoping to finish this in the first 6 months of the year and then move on to this ColourPop Pretty Fresh pressed powder in Fair One. I haven't really used this since my intro, so no progress here, but I feel like I'm going to go through this quicker. I don't know necessarily where I'm getting that from, because this has 9.5 grams and this has 8.5 grams. So that is like a decent amount of a difference, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's see how the shades look. I mean, this is a little lighter, but very similar. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with my powders. But the other one that I had in here was the Too Faced Born This Way Powder Foundation in Snow. This is something that I use every single day to set the primer in my crease, but I also use it to clean up under my cheek. I've been a lot more consistent since my last update doing that. And I have hit pan, which is super exciting. So we should be able to see that continue to grow over the next several updates. Because the way I'm using this, I believe this will be here till the end of the year, which is totally fine. I'm enjoying it in the way that I'm using it. So this went from 2.569 ounces to 2.500. Today, 2.433. Then I have a product that does not have as much progress. This is the Jaclyn Cosmetics Luminous Powder in Brighten Up. I've been using this with a fluffy brush down the center of my face and on the top of my cheeks. I've not been as consistent with using this. I often forget to do this until after I've already set my skin with setting spray. And this product went from 3.334 ounces. Last update, 3.316. Today, 3.314. So very little progress. I don't think this will be finished by the end of the year, but hopefully a good chunk so I can finish it next year. Then for setting spray, I'm currently using some minis that I want to finish this month, and then I'll have 6 months to work on the Urban Decay All Nighter Ultra Matte Setting Spray. Currently too heavy for the scale, but I will continue to weigh this until a weight shows up, and then we'll be able to really track it. I've not used this at all yet, so I'm really excited to see what I think of this formula. And then I've got my liquid and cream cheek products. If you guys watch my makeup of the days on Instagram, you are so sick of seeing the bronzing products, but this is the Flower Beauty Low Light Liquid Contour in Light. I've used so much of this. Now I'm not sure how much air was in here, but I'm really down there, which is so exciting. It would be awesome to have this used up by the end of summer, but we'll see. So at the intro, this weighed 0.746 ounces. Last update, 0.686. Today, 0.565. And I don't squeeze out product every single time. I feel like I usually have enough on the sponge for a couple days worth of applications. Then I have my Merit bronzer stick in clay, and I have been using this very diligently